Hello everybody, welcome into a Hoop State update. This is going to be a show we do once a week. This episode, the first one, will be recapping the month of November. It's going to be a great opportunity for you, the viewer, to kind of have a one-stop shop for everything going on in the state of North Carolina with high school basketball. Let's start things off with Vertical Academy. Obviously, North Carolina, really the country's biggest high school basketball star, Mikey Williams and his crew have kind of gone on a tour of such. They started off early with an early loss to Moravian Prep, and then they took on Word of God, and Mikey had a signature performance. Going for 49 points and a signature win at Huff High School. And since then, they traveled a bit, and we've also seen the emergence of Tremaine Parker, as Mikey is currently week to week with a finger injury. I think he broke a finger in his shooting hand, so we'll see when he comes back. But with his absence, Tremaine Parker has really emerged as a national level prospect, getting tons of attention from all the different media outlets and stuff like that. Stuff that we knew for a long time is now being shown to the nation. So he's capitalizing on his chance. He really seizing the moment playing with Mikey Williams, and now Mikey, as he makes his return to the lineup, I'm sure that these two will only gel even further as they get into the thick of the schedule heading towards Christmas time. Another thing we've seen really a lot of, probably more of than we ever saw, was like preseason / in-season transfers, and a lot of that was due to Donda Academy opening. Kanye West, in honor of his mother, Donda West, created a school out in Simi Valley, California, and they ended up getting 4 kids from the state of North Carolina and 3 kids in particular from Combine Academy, led by 5-star recruit Robert Dillingham. They also got Omarion Bodrick and Bryce Alfino, kind of gouging some of the guys from Combine, leaving them voids to be filled. Another guy that left Combine was Makai Grant, who transferred over to Word of God Christian Academy. Another couple interesting transfers, you have former Leesville guard Jalen McDonald, who caught a ton of lobs from Carter Witt in his time at Leesville. He's playing at Liberty Heights for his final year of high school basketball. And then the other one, Isaiah Washington, transferred from Pine Forest to Winston-Salem Christian, and he's now in the 2024 class. So expect to see his recruitment to spike as he sort of finds his niche with that Winston-Salem Christian team. I want to take the time to shout out Brandon Ingram of the New Orleans Pelicans for becoming the title sponsor of what was formerly the KINSTON MLK Showcase, now the Brandon Ingram MLK Showcase, going down at KINSTON High School. It's going to be an unbelievable event. We can't wait to bring it to you. Shout out to Brandon and his father Donald for really helping us out and coming through and just giving back to their hometown of KINSTON. It's such a special event. We can't wait for the 252 to show out, and we'll have a lot more info on that event on the Hoop State Network as we get closer. So one final shout out to Brandon Ingram. Another quick thing as we look ahead to the 2021 John Wall Holiday Invitational, we are finally back, and it is loaded yet again. The full team list has been announced. You have teams like Brewster Academy with, in my opinion, the #1 player in the 2023 class, Matas Buzelis. They also have Taylor Bowen, another 5-star. You got Life Christian with Hansel Emmanuel, one of the most unique talents this nation has ever seen, regardless of sport. You have Archbishop Spalding with Cam Whitmore going to Villanova, probably the best dunker in high school basketball. You have Combine Academy with their loaded roster. Moravian Prep, the Ellis brothers have really exploded. The Bruiser brothers are in town, 2 of the best freshmen in the country. I mean, there's so much here for this event. SoCal Academy, Baby Jokic, Jackson Kohler going to play for Tom Izzo. There's so much to be excited for within and beyond the state of North Carolina in this event. It's at Wake Tech North this year. Be sure to pop out. We want to pack the gym. The crowds have been unbelievable so far this year. You look at the Charlotte Hoops Challenge, the Carmel Christian Tip-Off Classic, Raleigh, it's your turn to show out right after Christmas, December 27th through 30th, plus a bonus little pre-Christmas celebration at Word of God Christian Academy. Join us for the service there December 23rd, all day long. Now it is time to break down some of the best highlights from the course of the month, and it started off with Overtime Elite invading the farm at Combine Academy, coming to play a series of exhibition showcase games against some of the top teams in North Carolina. And there were some different storylines that emerged. I think the most surprising, and honestly, really looking back at it, hindsight's always 20/20, it shouldn't be that surprising. The Simpkins twins, Takai and Tawan, put on a show in a narrow overtime loss to Overtime Elite. Bryce Griggs hit the game winner. He's hit a lot of buzzer beaters this year for them. And they are honestly the closest team to knocking off OTE. Jaden Epps averaged over 35 a night as Combine was competitive in both of their losses to Overtime Elite. And then Kami and Shell had a breakout 36-point performance in a narrow loss to Overtime Elite. So it was very good to see kind of a new thing. It was unprecedented to have a high school age professional team coming in and playing against some of the top schools in the Hoop State. So despite all of the teams from the Hoop State coming up empty in that initial opportunity to knock off one of the Overtime Elite teams, Word of God Christian Academy went down to Atlanta to play a road game at the brand new state-of-the-art OTE arena and found a way to go 1-1. It was a brilliant performance from Freddie DeLeon. He had a 28-point triple-double, shooting 50% from the field. Jaquan Moore had a big night, 23 points, 5 rebounds. Po Boy King was making shots. Brandon Gardner was around the rim. Makai Grant left an impact. And they found a way to get a big win over OTE fans. So at the Carmel Christian Tip-Off Classic, the first real regular season high school event of the year, it was a packed house. Every year that event sells out. It's such an unbelievable environment. And we had a few classics really to talk about. The first one being Greensboro Day, Freddie Johnson getting another signature win, this one over Steve Smith and Oak Hill in a close 1-point battle. And it lived up to the hype. It was a classic Greensboro Day win. They executed at a high level, had multiple guys in double figures, and it was really Nick Graves controlling the show, and CJ Collins in the middle getting 16 rebounds. It kind of propelled Greensboro Day to the upset win. This isn't like Oak Hill last year where they were kind of a fringe top 25 team, fringe top 15 team. That team's loaded with Blue Buds commit, ranked 4th in the nation heading into that. So that's a statement win for Greensboro Day to start their season. So before the Greensboro Day Oak Hill game on Saturday, we had an interesting one on Friday night go down between Northside Christian and Combine Academy. Combine was pretty heavily favored heading into the game. Most said they'd probably win it by double figures, but the game didn't really start that way. Wesley Tubbs and his guys led a really nice charge to start the game. Starting the game on an 18-0 run, putting Combine kind of on their heels a little bit, wondering what was going to happen. But Jeff McGinnis and his guys rallied. They battled back. A signature performance from Patrick Wessler. I think he had 31 and 20 in that game in the win. And they found a way to come back and win the game by 20. So it shows the resiliency of this Combine team early on. Wesley Tubbs actually left the game with an injury. He's also kind of in that week-to-week status. So we should see him back pretty soon, but there's no doubt that this Northside Christian team is legit, and once they get Wesley back, they're going to be humming for a state title. In the following weekend at the Phenom November Classic, the game that everyone was talking about was that late Norman Christian win over Liberty Heights, and a lot of people had pegged Liberty Heights as the preseason favorite to win the Hoop State Championship, but late Norman Christian had other ideas. They ran that zone defense that really stifled Liberty Heights' offense, had a hard time making shots, and it was really a masterful performance on the offensive end from Josh Bullock, 20-23 guard, finished with 23 points. Shane Fernald chipped in with 8 points and 11 rebounds. They got the job done, and this late Norman Christian team said, look, we lost Michael Williams, we lost Trey Green, we lost a lot of seniors to graduation, but we still have a talented group and we're ready to play anybody. And so Pat McCarthy and his guys are locked and loaded, ready to go, and they have their first signature win of the year. And for Liberty Heights, despite the tough loss to Lake Norman Christian, they had a quick bounce back opportunity and they got it done. They beat Word of God in overtime at Hoops and Dreams in Fayetteville. Silas Emery Jr. was big time late. He and Freddie Dillingham and Jaquan Moore had their battles, but they found a way. Liberty Heights got the job done, got the win in overtime as they look to kind of get their season back on track. And maybe that late Norman Christian loss was the wake-up call that they needed. And one of the biggest stories in North Carolina high school basketball, really even the country, has been the emergence of Eli Ellis and Moravian Prep. So we've known Eli for a while, really since he was in like the 6th or 7th grade, and to see his steady progression to the point now where it really all culminated in that win over Vertical Academy and Mikey Williams, where he scored 29, little brother Isaac scored 30 off the bench, and they've just built on that. They beat Winston-Salem Christian. They've had a few other big-time wins early in the season. They beat Lake Norman Christian, and they're continuing to build that up. And it's going to culminate in a big game that we're going to talk about here in a little while when they play Combine Academy this weekend at the Tyler Lewis High School Hoop Fest. So Moravian Prep, Eli Ellis, Isaac Ellis, Hamilton Campbell, that whole crew, Justin Banks, they've done an incredible job this year and really are the talk of the town in the state of North Carolina. At the Charlotte Hoops Challenge, the marquee game was Combine Academy taking on JL Chambers, led by Jalen Curry, Daniel Sanford, and Mario Hansen. And Combine, obviously, they got their big three-headed monster with AJ Smith, Jaden Epps, and Pat Wessler. It was a battle, literally anyone's game. Nick Dorn had a big shot to take the lead, really as time expired as a buzzer beater, just missed it. And it was a game where Combine came on top by 2. It was really one of those where Epps didn't have it going, so they had to kind of turn to Wessler, even though he was dealing with foul trouble. He ended up with 14 points, 17 rebounds, and Combine found a way to escape with a close win. It was a very high-level matchup between two great teams, full of great players, and it was exactly what Charlotte wanted. After last year, with no fans being in the gym, it was great to see a packed house in the 704 in a great facility at Myers Park, and two great teams battling it out. All the fans got their money's worth, and Combine found a way to get the win. Before we get to the rest of the show, I want to have everyone join us December 3rd and 4th at Forsyth Country Day School for the Tyler Lewis High School Hoop Fest big time Friday night matchup between the top 2 teams in the state, Combine Academy and Moravian Prep. It's going to be an unbelievable weekend of basketball. We want you to hashtag pack the gym. It's all going down this weekend. Some of the best teams in the country are going to be in attendance. And if you can't make it, be sure to check it out all live on hoopstatelive.com. And now it's time to welcome our guy on, Jack Leary, with the I Know Jack weekly power rankings in the Hoop State. Jack, top 10 teams. Let's start it off with 10.
Number 10, I got Weddington High School. The only team in my top 10 that has not played a game this year, but just off last season, undefeated state champion, bringing 9 of their top 10 guys back. I think they're due for a big season this year.
All right, who you got at number 9?
Number 9, I got Carmel Christian. Hosted the Carmel Christian tip-off, looked great. They went to the Holiday Hoopsgiving and went 2-0. I think Kay Tyson is on a mission this year for revenge after a disappointing state champion loss last year. So I have the Carmel Christian Cougars at number 9.
All right, number 8.
I got Liberty Heights. Loaded roster and had a couple great wins this season so far, but that loss to Lake Norman Christian was just really baffling. But they came back and had a huge win against War of God, which moved them up about 4 or 5 spots for me, so I got them at number 8.
It seems like they've had issues when teams give a zone. Do you think that's something they're going to struggle with all year, or because that could be a kryptonite for them if they're not able to figure that out?
You know, the zone, it's something that they're going to have to work around as the season goes on and hopefully become a better shooting team. But I think with Coach Wright, they're definitely going to get him right. He's a great coach, and they're going to adjust as the season goes on.
All right, who you got at number 7, Jack?
Number 7, I got Winston-Salem Christian. Came into the year as a top 3 team in the state. They, I think, kind of moved down the ranks as some other teams got big wins like Greensboro Day over Oak Hill, but they played in a huge Thanksgiving tournament in Illinois this week with Quante Berry and Christ East Ndoko with big tournaments, getting all tournament teams, playing against Life Christian, Colorado Prep. They looked really good, so I moved them up 1 spot from my last week's ranking. I think Coach Lowe and that athletic team, Zion Collins coming back, Lewis Walker's starting to find his pace. I think they're going to be a very tough team to beat down the stretch.
There it is. All right, number 6. Who do we have?
I got J.L. Chambers, the highest public school in the state. Played a great game against Combine this week, but only lost by 2. I think they have the best backcourt and frontcourt duo with Jalen Curry and Daniel Sanford, also with Mario Hansen. And Daniel Sanford really hasn't had a big game really this year. I mean, Jalen Curry was their main guy in the Combine game, and neither one of them really played that well against Independence. So we're just seeing the tip of the iceberg with this team. So I think they're going to be very, very good.
All right, number 5. Getting into the top 5 now. These are the cream of the crop teams in the Hoop State. Who do you got?
For sure. I got Word of God at number 5. I had them at number 3 or 4 before the loss to Liberty Heights, with them performing insanely good against Overtime Elite. I mean, that was some great games for them, going against a loaded roster of 4 and 5 stars. I mean, this roster, just based off pure talent, is top 2, if not number 1. I mean, you got 4-star, borderline 5-star Brandon Garner. Po' Boy King can shoot the lights out. Freddie Dillingham, Mr. Triple-Double. I mean, this team, they have 5 guys that could go for 20 points in any game. They are loaded, and Coach Carr is doing a great job with them. I'm super excited for them to get even more team chemistry and become an even better team.
So, number 4, cracking that Mount Rushmore. Who do you got?
I have the Burlington school led by Coach Ryan Bernardi and the Fantastic Four of Kobe George, Avion Penner, Zion Walker, and Kenai Briggs, and Mike Nwoko. I mean, that team is deep. Shane Peterson off the bench. Bernardi is, I think, one of the best coaches in the state at his age. I mean, he's just doing tremendous things with this team. One of the best finishing teams in the state. You got some of the best slashers and some of the best sophomores. Big Mike has come in from Canada and looked like one of the best 2023 prospects in the state. He's going to be picking up high major offers soon.
Number 3, cracking the top 3, getting to the nitty-gritty. Who do we have?
We have the most historic program in North Carolina high school basketball, Greensboro Day. I mean, this team opened the season with probably the biggest win in North Carolina with the win over Oak Hill. I think the best defensive team in the state. I mean, you look at their scores, they've held multiple opponents under, I mean, some teams under 30 points, under 40 points, under 50 points. I mean, this team plays insanely good defense. Nick Graves, one of the most underrated guards in the state. And you forget this team has like 5 D1 commits. Nick Graves, Zanoni, Jaden Young will be a D1 player, and Jackson Noble, who is committed to Navy. He is a great team player, a great defender. He can guard probably 2 through 5, to be honest. They're a great team. I think what's keeping them from being up there with Moravian and Combine is sometimes they don't have that guy that can go get you points.
Number 2, I feel like everyone kind of has the same top 2. The order might be flipped. So who you got in that second slot?
I'm holding with the Moravian at number 2 right now. I'm the best shooting team in the state, hands down, and also one of the most entertaining teams to watch in the state. Led by the Ellis brothers. Eli Ellis is showing out, no doubt, 5-star freshman in the country, and the best freshman in the state. But you also got guys like Justin Banks, who has been great for them in the big man position, which was kind of an open spot where we didn't know who was going to step up for them and before the season started. Hamilton Campbell is one of the best passers in the state. His vision on the court is insane. His basketball IQ is through the roof. Isaac Ellis coming off the bench to hit big shots as a 8th grader. This is a team that you pay money to go watch them play. They sell tickets. Like this team, I want to go watch them play. And they are going to compete their tail off against no matter who they play. I know Eli Ellis wants to beat whoever he plays. They just have that dog in them from Eli competing against Shaquille Moore when he was in middle school. I mean, this is what they grew up for. Basketball is what they live. So I think Moravian has the chance to be the number 1 team in the state.
Number 1 spot, I feel like everyone knows where it is, but you might as well break it down. Combine Academy.
They're the number 1 team in the state because you do not know. I mean, this team is really so much different than last year's team, just watching them play. I mean, you got a more balanced attack this year, which is why I think this team is so scary. Jaden Epps, obviously the main scorer on the team, but Patrick Wessler, I really think is the only big man in the state that can go in and control a game and basically take over a game. I mean, this guy is a double-double machine. I mean, he controls the boards basically any game that he plays. This team could end up being just as scary as it was before with Robert Dillingham because they don't have last year with Robert Dillingham, like when they played Moravian that one night. Robert Dillingham has a bad night and the whole team falls apart. This team, Jaden Epps has a bad game. You have Wessler that can go out there and score 25 and 15. I mean, this team is balanced, and I think that's what makes them so scary. I mean, even last night against JL Chambers, their leading scorer was 15 points, and they still beat a top 7 team in the state. So I think that's what makes the Combine Academy GOATs the number 1 team in the state.
I love the breakdown of all 10 teams. I think your list is very valid. I'd probably change a couple things around, but it's very, very valid.
Combine, I definitely do think they're not a perfect team. I mean, that's what makes this high school basketball season so much fun. All 10 of those teams that I just mentioned are beatable. And that's what makes, I mean, that's why we play these tournaments. So these top teams can get beat and upsets happen and great games happen. There's not one team dominating the rest. That's why I'm so excited about this high school season. But I do think Combine, for right now, is the number 1 team in the state. And we have a huge game this week, Friday night, against number 1 and number 2, where we're going to find out who really is the number 1 team in the state.
Jack, before you head out, tell everyone watching where they could find your work.
Go on to Instagram and type in iknowjack.sports, all one on Instagram. My page will be right there with graphics, updates, all you need to find for North Carolina high school basketball. And then Twitter, I know Jack Sports. I'll be posting updates, keeping track of basically all the things that I do on Instagram. So thank you guys so much for having me.
All right, Jack, thank you so much for coming on and giving us your top 10 teams. We'll talk to you again next week. We'll be doing this all season long leading up to the Hoop State Championship in early March. And before we wrap the show up with my player of the month, I'm going to throw it to my guy Simmons as he breaks down the top 10 plays of the month of November.
Yeah, we back. You already top plays. Here we go. Combine Academy, Joe Barkham, right, Wessler. I see you, Big Pat, coming through like big country. So word to God, Brandon Gardner, now. Get it out. What? You jump off stage on you, man. What's wrong with you? Trying to come in the paint like you crazy. Willie Lightfoot, one dribble, la bong. Jalen McDonald, Charles. A little Culpepper DeMoss, pitch and catch. That beats bucket. Number 10, here we go. AJ Smith with the brolic pass fake. You seen it. I gotta bring the points down because he looked down first. He was brolic on the ball fake. Big chest, I lay. Number 9, he popped off too. Hoop State, I need it. I was in the building for this. Charlotte Hoop Fest, Daniel Sanford, your mama. That joint was crazy. Seeing it live, he got full of stitch on the rim there. Rah! Julius Peppers, Daniel Sanford, another windmill, Jalen McDonald. We've been seeing this since he was in the 8th grade. Slight windmill on the break. That's easy for him. That's regular. Rah! Xavier McIvy. Real talk, when you go back and look at this, he can do this in Timberlands because he caught the windmill and flipped it. For the boys, it's crazy in the gym. They bugging. Josh Short, I need it. Hoop State, I need it. Number 8. Right. Hey, yo, chill, Matty. You bugging. Charles ain't even had to punch on Matty like that. Bow. Relax, Matty. It's crazy. We got to work on Charles' celebration, though. Brolic Legs Luger is back. I need it. Hey! Alex Bates stretched out. Hit that man with the Georgia the Jungle. It was crazy. I need it. We got AJ Smith again. Brolic slam. Buddy from Concord was bugging. What's wrong with you? It's crazy. It's easy off Bert. Maya ain't had to hit that girl with the wobble wobble. The shake it, shake it. That's crazy. Jab. One dribble I snatch. Right round. Drop shorty. Float me. That shows the skill. Maya, you gotta chill. Pity pat pat pity. For Epps uptown. Zion Ace. That was my dog. No, he ain't even see that coming. Yeah. Zion Ace. Hoop State, I need it. Number 3. This was crazy. Now, he was mad like number 10 took his sister to prom. Jefferson McLamb. Ain't nobody in the gym really expect that one. That was crazy. Rip over the top, your mama. He ain't had to dunk on money like that. Hoop State, I need it. Number 2, shout out to my man, Lad Work. Lewis Walker. He ain't had to snatch buddy like that twice. Floating through, real brolic, 1-2 lay. Check him out. Hey. Show the versatility, Lewis. One more time. One dribble, right back. Oh my God. When he touched his toe. Chill, lay. MJ, come on, man. Chill, Lows. You bugging. You ain't check IG? I'm going to V-Tech, man. I don't even know why you did that. See, it started with his teammate right there with a horrible defense. MJ full head his team. They'll come take this ride, Lows. Bow. You bugging. I don't even know what you thinking, son. It's crazy. Number 1, you see it, 54-51. Shelby down 3. Allie Hollyfield from the parking lot. Peep game. Pitch. Set the back screen. Boo. Blow. Tie game. And so you know you can tell by the confidence in the jog round, they already knew what time it was. This was slight. Parent come out of the stands. You go, girl. From the parking lot. Woo, blow. Going to OT, man. Don't know if they won the game or not, but that's Simmons. That's the top 10. We back. Listen, if you got banged on, relax. It's okay. I got to deliver the news, man. We out.
And for the month of November, my player of the month is, you guessed it, Eli Ellis of Moravian Prep. The freshman guard has been an absolute demon for Moravian Prep. Getting buckets, letting people know, running his team, and they're undefeated right now with an impressive resume that's continuing to grow. Eli has been an emerging player for the last few years, and now it's really culminating in his freshman season at Moravian Prep. It's his team, he's the vocal leader, and it seems like he's poised to become one of the nation's biggest stars in grassroots/high school basketball. For everyone tuning in, especially if you're still watching this right now, we appreciate you so very much. If you want to continue to help us out, be sure to subscribe, like the video, follow us on all the social platforms, and our merch store is hoopstatestore.com, so be sure to check that out as well. For Anthony Simmons and Jack Leary, I'm Miles Masercola, and you just checked out Hoop State Update.
For the love, we in this, we ain't got gotta make cash from it. Get the rock to Simmons, guaranteed he make that bucket. Money in the bank, kick it to Ray. His shot like Allen, wanna see the footage, Donnie and Max. They got the cameras and ride automatic, can't let this guy shoot. But they can dump it down to pasta for them inside scoops. And Webb holds it all together, won't find a glue trace. Keep your shoes laced if you pull up on the hoop state. Hoop state, hoop state.